It's time for the news right here on Times Television, TTV, and you're with me, Ronald Mpaso. First, the headlines. President Lazarus Chakwera lays the foundation for the achievement of Malawi's Vision 2063 in his State of the Nation address. Malawi Electoral Commission appoints Harris Potani as acting Chief Elections Officer. And businessman Thompson Mpinganjira claims to have given donations and loans to some big political parties in the country. We have these and other stories. Stay with us. In our first story, President Lazarus Chakwera has today laid a foundation for the achievement of Malawi's Vision 2063. In his State of the Nation address, Chakwera said in the next 4 years, the country will focus on creating wealth, food security, and creating jobs among youths. Audrey Kapalamula has a report.
In his State of the Nation address delivered at Parliament, Chakwera said his government wants to achieve permanent food security for all Malawians and do away with hunger, ensure that young people are self-reliant and productive contributors to Malawi's development, and that Malawians are beneficiaries of any economic activity. He said to achieve this, strategic ministries, departments and government agencies will be given a lion's share of his administrative attention.
Put simply, the three-pronged yardstick by which we will measure either the urgency or agency of any government policy or program or project we will be presenting before this House is whether it puts meals on the tables of Malawians, money in the pockets of Malawians, and work in the hands of Malawians. This is not to say that other outcomes envisioned by Malawi 2063 agenda are not important. But as I stated in my address on the eve of the new year, we must have priorities that spearhead that progress.
Chakwera said his government will continue fighting corruption, poverty, and ensure that the country registers positive economic growth despite the continued impact of COVID-19. He has appealed to the judiciary to expedite the creation of special courts to efficiently dispose of cases of corruption and theft of public funds. Commenting on the address, EU Deputy Head of Delegation Oreri Vatat described Chakwera's speech as comprehensive.
We have a clear path of what is expected, and Malawians can tick off boxes if they want to next year to see what has happened. I think the devil is in the detail, as we say, and it all sounds fantastic, but we have to see really on the ground how things are being implemented. And I think the President is quite aware that this is the challenge. So the public sector reform is precisely one of the cases where he knows that policies are, good to have, but if your civil service is not delivering, then nothing is happening.
National Planning Commission Executive Director Thomas Muntari commended Chakwera for prioritizing the Vision 2063 other than a political manifesto.
What we now look forward to is that the Minister of Finance should really make sure that the budget talks to these aspects. And we, as the President has pointed out, at the National Planning Commission are taking lead in coming up with the 10-year implementation plan. In there, we then are going to define more explicitly on how are we going to create this wealth, how do we create these jobs, as well as making sure that we ensure that there's food security.
However, spokesperson for Democratic Progressive Party in the chamber, Brad Msaka, said it is a lost opportunity for the President as he failed to impress the hearts of many. Parliament is expected to deliberate on the SONA from Monday next week.
Meanwhile, President Lazarus Chakwera has expressed dismay over the decision by the Public Appointments Committee to reject the appointment of Martha Chizuma as the next director of the Anti-Corruption Bureau. The leader of the House, Richard Chimwendo Banda, has since moved a motion demanding a detailed report from the committee on the matter on Monday next week.
I was not deliberately asking or questioning their choice, but I was asking them to bring forward a report, a detailed report on how they did the confirmation. Because if you go into the Constitution clearly says that Public Appointments Committee must confirm a candidate or not. But what we heard was that they were doing interviews again. I was basically questioning about the rationale of how they did their thing, and basically for them to come and explain, because sometimes we can point fingers when we're not supposed to point fingers.
Vice President Saulos Chilima has called for huge investments in the health sector if the country is to achieve the universal health coverage by the year 2030. Chilima made the remarks during the commemoration of the International Nurses Day in Lilongwe today. The Vice President said there is need for proper reforms in the health sector as a country. Blessings in Pinganjira has a report.
Vice President Saulos Chilima said there is need for proper reforms in the health sector as a country. He said it is high time government starts investing in the health sector. Chilima added government will soon recruit more nurses and midwives and acquire more personal protective equipment, PPEs. President of National Organization of Nurses and Midwives, Shaut Simeza, said health personnel faced a lot of challenges that led to 21 deaths of nurses.
It is a tall order because, at a time when the health sector is hit by COVID-19 and is calling for massive transformation, innovations, and reforms, as where now nurses are being identified to lead the future of healthcare. So if we particularize this to Malawi, it is not news at all that nurses and midwives are not well positioned to take up the challenge. Because you go to health center, you go to a district hospital, you go to central hospital. No nurse is leading.
Senior nursing officer at Kamuzu Central Hospital, Beatrice Gundo, said a recent study called Experience of Health Workers in Caring for Critically Ill COVID-19 Patients revealed that a lot of health workers were affected by COVID-19.
Some of the health workers did not have adequate skills and knowledge when they were in the isolation center. And the other challenges, most of our health workers were affected, and then they were not supposed to be working. So this created shortage to the health system.
This year's International Nurses Commemoration Day is under the theme, Nurses, a Voice to Lead a Vision for Future Health Care.
The Malawi Electoral Commission has appointed Harris Potani as acting Chief Elections Officer with immediate effect. Potani's appointment comes after the resignation of Sam Alufandika from the position last month. A statement signed by the Commission's chairperson, Chifundo Kachane, says Potani was the Deputy Chief Elections Officer for Operations and has been with the Commission for 21 years. The Malawi Local Government Association, MALGA, has requested the central government to intervene as a matter of urgency and financially bail out local councils. MALGA Acting Chief Executive Officer, Hadrod Mkandavire, has indicated that the councils are indebted with huge outstanding arrears in terms of salaries, pay-as-you-earn and other expenditures in some councils dating back to previous years. This was disclosed during a virtual meeting between the councils and the Ministry of Finance. Matthews Kasanda has a report.
Nkandawile explained that the arrears raised doubts of the council's ability to clear them using the year funding and local revenues which are already constrained. This was disclosed during the 2021-2020 pre-budget consultation that the Ministry of Finance had with the councils. Nkandawile further decried conditions of service for controlling officers and senior managers, which he says are not competitive, thereby do not attract and retain the best talent on the market. On his part, Director of Finance for Mulanje District Council, Ellen Kaira, said councils face common challenges in local revenue collection and provision of services to the communities. In his response, Minister of Finance Felix Mulusu said the ministry will be meeting the city councils so that the council's authorities can explain their long-term plans. Mulusu further said the government will consider the request by the councils for the financial bailout.
Businessman Thompson Mpinganjira has alleged that he gave donations and loans to some well-known political parties in the country. Mpinganjira claimed that he gave a donation of 94 million kwacha to the Malawi Congress Party at the request of its president, 350 million kwacha as a loan to the UTM at the request of its president, 40 million kwacha to the People's Party as requested by its leader, and donated a loan of 950 million kwacha to the Democratic Progressive Party. Mpinganjira said this in court during his trial on attempting to bribe judges in the 2019 elections case. However, during cross-examination by Anti-Corruption Bureau lawyer Victor Chiwala, Mpinganjira failed to provide evidence to back the claims. The Malawi Prison Service has started registering new cases of COVID-19 after about a month without any case. The new cases come as prison authorities were contemplating reopening the prisons to visitors. The prison spokesperson Chimwemwe Shawa has disclosed that as of today there were a total of 23 cases recorded in various prisons across the country. Matthews Kasanda has a report.
The Malawi Prison Service spokesperson Chimwemwe Shawa has disclosed that as of Wednesday this week, there was a total of 23 COVID-19 cases recorded in different prisons across the country. He says all the cases have been recorded in the past 3 weeks.
And you are still holding them in the isolation centers that were established when we were managing that second wave of COVID-19. So the stand for now is that our gates will remain closed. We are still not allowing visitors so that we closely monitor the situation. Because when we registered there are 0 cases, when there are 0 cases, we are thinking to ease some of the restrictions. But the situation has again taken us off guard. And we feel like we should monitor the situation. And if it happens that the cases decline, then we are going to open up our gates.
According to the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, by Tuesday this week, cumulatively Malawi had recorded 34,183 cases of COVID-19, including 1,153 deaths. At the moment, the country is administering the COVID-19 AstraZeneca vaccine, which has so far reached out to over 325,000 people.
You're watching the news right here on Times Television, TTV. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Tikolole kungonjezera mayunitsi a TNM kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunitsi ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Welcome back. People living in border districts are said to be more at risk of contracting COVID-19 due to cross-border activities between communities as other countries across the world battle a third wave of the pandemic. This was revealed when the Malawi Red Cross Society held intensified COVID-19 campaigns in Nsanje, a district that is bordering Mozambique, where there is a lot of cross-border trade and intermarriages between people of the two countries. Selina Tambula has a report.
Malawi Red Cross Society's district coordinator for Nsanje, Patricia Gadi, said the campaigns are aimed at encouraging people in the district to continue observing various COVID prevention methods. She said communities are discouraged from relaxing despite cases in the country remaining low. She said the campaign is targeting areas along the border, markets, and also door-to-door engagements with communities.
So far, as Malawi Red Cross Society, we have been carrying out different interventions in the hotspot areas within Nsanje, sensitizing the communities, especially in strategic areas like the markets, trading centers, fishing camps, and bus depots.
George Mbotwa, who is the health promotion officer at Nsanje District Hospital, said such campaigns are important as the district registered a total of 178 cases with 4 deaths.
Basically, this is very timely. One would say, okay, maybe it's a little out of the normal wave of COVID, but then we saw this with the first wave. People thought, okay, the second wave is not coming, but then it still came. Now we're talking about the third wave in other countries, India and all those countries, and we should be worried that what if this wave comes to Malawi?
He said so far, 5,840 people have received a COVID-19 vaccine in the district. And Stanford Njala, a fisherman who frequents Mbeje Market, said he benefited a lot from the messages, saying many communities have relaxed in observing COVID prevention methods.
I have learned that COVID is dangerous and that some have died from it. We also have to take part by getting vaccinated. I have learned that India has been hit by a third wave and also Kenya. We must therefore make sure we are vaccinated.
During the campaign, the organization disseminated various COVID messages at Mbeje Market and also conducted door-to-door activities in households in Group Village Headman in Benje's area in Traditional Authority Ngabu.
An assessment by an agricultural organization has noted that shortage of extension workers and veterinary staff in rural areas continues to contribute to losses in various agricultural produce in the country. The assessment by the Center for Community Empowerment Initiative showed that the gap in the human capital resource has affected farmers greatly in rural areas. Details in this report by Patience Lunda.
Center for Community Empowerment Initiatives Executive Director Gilbert Banda said the problem is particularly clear in livestock production, and the fatality rate of livestock becomes high due to lack of professional advice. Banda said the organization has since trained 45 community animal health workers in locations that are far from extension workers to help farmers on basic issues that affect livestock.
We found out that just a few farmers will benefit, and those farmers are those that are just close to them. Those that are very far, they are living far from them. Because even the few government staff that are available do not have resources like fuel which they can use to move around.
The community animal health workers have been equipped with skills such as vaccination and construction of proper animal kraals. The organization is also implementing a livestock for empowerment project in Mzimba North with a core objective of increasing smallholder farmers' access to diversified sources of income and to increase the capacity of women and youth to produce quality livestock and products. On his part, Assistant Social Welfare Officer at the Ministry of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, Victor Pindikani, further noted that most interventions sideline people with various vulnerabilities, thereby increasing poverty levels.
When we have interventions that are not targeting the vulnerable groups, then we are not reducing the poverty line. Because we are working for the poor people. Now, would want to involve even those who are marginalized communities like the disabled people, but they are poor.
Center for Community Empowerment Initiatives is targeting 2,500 livestock farmers from Maridade, Mperembe, Msizini and Eutini extension planning areas with support from Veterinaries Sans Frontiers and Vaud Ganzen.
That's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. President Lazarus Chakwera lays a foundation for the achievement of Malawi's Vision 2063 in his State of the Nation address. The Malawi Electoral Commission has appointed Harry Spotani as acting Chief Elections Officer. And businessman Thompson Mpinganjira claims to have given donations and loans to some big political parties in the country. You've been with me, Ronald Mpaso, but you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Stay safe and good night.
Define your surroundings with the color of your choice. Make it warm, creative, friendly, and vibrant. Coat textures, durable color options, with up to 1,200 color shades to choose from. Be it economy range or premium range paints, innovative paint and